Hello, family. My name is James Trice, and I'm the creator of a podcast called YANA, or You Are Not Alone. You Are Not Alone is a podcast for Black men. It is more than just a podcast. It's a lifeline and a brotherhood. We're here to create a supportive, judgment-free space where Black men can have real, open conversations about what truly matters to us, from family and relationships to community, sports, culture, politics, faith, sex, race, education, and the challenges of everyday life. We dive deep into it all. Whether you're looking for advice, motivation, prayer, or just a comfort of knowing you're not walking this journey alone. YANA is here for you. This is your space to connect, grow, and be heard, because none of us are meant to do life alone. Look for new episodes weekly wherever you get your podcasts. And look for me on Instagram at jbtrice123. Welcome to YANA. Grace and peace, everyone. James Trice here again. Welcome to YANA. You are not alone. It's a space for Black men to come together and talk about the things that matter most to us. It's a space for us to feel free, be open, be honest, and to talk about issues that that we find important in a judgment-free environment, and we could talk uncensored. And it's a space where really we walk the journey of life together, because none of us are meant to do life alone. And so again, welcome to YANA. Today's guest, we have Brother Tarris Giles joining us. This is a brother that I just met recently over the last year or two, last few years. We met and got a chance to interact somewhat at church, but now he is a guest on my show, and I'm glad that he's with us. And so, Brother Tarris, introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit something about yourself.
First of all, I appreciate the invite. I know James, Brother James, talked about us interacting a little bit at church, but the invite means so much to me because I believe in what he's doing. I believe in what you're doing. But my name is Tarris Giles. I am, number one, a believer. I am a kingdom citizen. And I understand what that means and the rights that I have being a kingdom citizen. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a musician. I am an entrepreneur. I'm a trader. I am moving in marketplace ministry, is what I call it. I grew up as a PK, growing up in church my entire life. And when I say my entire life, I mean that, like from baby on up. And I begin to see the way people operated in ministry, never really coveted any of that, but always looked for how do I fit in? Like where am I supposed to fit in? And really over the last few years, God has kind of been pushing me more and more into marketplace ministry. So I will call myself a marketplace minister, a marketplace evangelist, is what I would call myself. But really, my goals in life is to do the will of the Father. If He says do it, I'm just crazy enough to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I've never heard the term marketplace minister, marketplace evangelist. Talk a little bit about that. What does that mean to be a marketplace minister?
For me, it means taking things outside the four walls of the church. We have a lot of things that are geared for within the four walls. We have a lot of ministers that literally only operate on a Sunday or on a Wednesday within the four walls of the church. But I believe God has called us to be in the world, but not of the world. We see that scripture. But how are we going to get souls if we're afraid to go out to where people are? We work. We're in public on a daily basis. Are you afraid to speak about your king? Are you afraid to really minister to individuals in those settings? And God has continuously been pushing me to do that. I'll find myself in situations, whether it's on a job, where individuals will just start to come to me asking questions, maybe looking for advice, but a lot of times they'll come and say, "Hey, there's something different about you. What is it?" That I get excited when I hear that question because I'm ready to go. I'm ready to really tell them what it is that's different about me, who I serve, and who I am in the kingdom, and really kind of pull them into the kingdom in just a natural way of doing it. And so when I say marketplace ministry, it's ministering on a job, it's ministering in any setting that you're placed in, and that does not mean you have to be speaking in tongues, that does not mean you have to be laying hands on individual, but your life is the biggest piece of evangelism that you have. And so that's what I mean when I say marketplace minister. I'm called to people that would not necessarily come into a church. But I'm in the same spaces that they are, whether it's in corporate America or a grocery store, and I'm going to bring the kingdom with me.
So how does that look, right, in real time? So what draws people to you? You do something or you say something that makes people say, "Hey, there's something different about you." How does
Yeah.
that look when you say that you do the evangelism outside the walls of the church?
Yeah. So for me, I'm always going to be myself. Yeah, you're never going to get a different version of me, whether I'm in the church or I'm on a job. And so I pride myself in being my authentic self. I'm a believer. I'm a black man. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm going to be me. And I think sometimes the world can see the authenticity that you are bringing. They can see it. And so I've had so many times where people will literally say, "Hey, I noticed you don't curse," or I noticed that when we're talking about certain things, you don't really join in these conversations. Like, why aren't you joining in? Like, what's different about you? Now, I don't condemn anyone, number one. And so being my authentic self in these spaces, they're never going to get a judgment from me. That's not what they're going to get at all. Now, if God leads me to, say something or have a little correction, it's never going to come with the feeling of just, oh, he's judging me. But I'm able to give advice, and they may not know initially that it's godly advice.
Mm,
Um, but those principles work, and it's been situations where I used to manage plumbing. I was a plumbing manager. I was an HVAC manager, and I would have one-on-one meetings with my plumbers. Now, the one-on-one meetings were designed to figure out how can they improve as a plumber, right? But they would quickly turn into ministering sessions.
mm.
And so I'd ask the question, "Hey, how's life? How are you doing in life?" And the door was open then, and they felt open enough to start spilling the beans, and just tell me, all right, what they're struggling with, what they're going through. And you have these big burly plumbers sitting in there crying, just literally crying, telling me about their life. That's an open door. And so I've always kind of really prided myself in being a solution, being the salt of the earth, and having that solution. And so there's times where I was able to sit there and minister to them, and not even necessarily say the name Jesus yet. See,
Wow.
but they know they feel what I'm saying, and I would speak to them prophetically. God would begin to tell me about their lives, and I would just say it. "Hey, I see you in this situation. I see this is what happened when you were growing up. You're dealing with this kind of hurt," and they
Wow.
know that it's not. How could I know this information? And so from just sowing those seeds, bringing what God has given me, later down the road, the conversation just grew even further and further. Okay, hey, you want to know how I know this about you? God told me to say this, and I used wisdom and found the right settings to say that. But God told me to say this about you. I want you to know that He loves you, and the door for ministry just opened. And I've been able to lead people to Christ in those settings, versus waiting for them to come into the church.
Wow, that's incredible. So it sounds like you move in the prophetic. Um,
Absolutely.
right. And so as a black man who is a marketplace minister and moves in the prophetic, what are you most concerned about with us as black men in the world today? What are you most concerned about and why?
Yeah, so God has really laid on my heart black men, but black teens and black kids,
Mm,
specifically boys, um, where he's put in my heart to bring a solution to them. And so we understand the dynamics of this country. We live in the United States, but we are not united in any shape or form. As black men, we go through things that others do not go through. They could never understand it. But even from the standpoint of you look at Chicago, and I'm not from Chicago, but I understand it's one of the most segregated cities in the United States, if not the most segregated. And so, what that has
yes, it is.
caused has been redlining for decades. But redlining, yes, keeping us out of certain areas, but that also affects our school systems. And so, unfortunately, the way school systems are funded here in the United States is from property taxes. And so if you have people, whether they're black or whatever, in certain areas where property values are lower, well, that begets schools not being funded the way they should be. And so I've seen the crisis of hopelessness in our black kids, specifically black boys, where all they see is what's around them and they don't understand what options that they have as far as careers, as far as education. And so the burden and the crisis that I see is hopelessness. But we are not those that have no hope. And so being able to bring identity to them and understand, under getting them to understand that their identity is found in Christ, but also giving natural solutions. And so when I talk about natural solutions, I begin to speak on this just briefly about being a trader. I am a trader. I trade in the markets on the regular, but God has put on me to put together programs specifically for our youth, specifically for our youth. Yes, when you you get to the point of graduating high school, we know the options of college. We know the options of going directly into work. We know the options of going into the trades. But God has me pushing the option to go in as a trader. And so just dream with me on this. Imagine being
Hmm.
able to teach someone starting at age 10 how to read the market, how to
Mm.
make money in the markets. When they become 18, that option is clearly there for them. And so that crisis of hopelessness and not knowing what to do when you graduate or just conforming to what you see in your neighborhood, I'm coming to be a solution because God wants me to be.
Wow. So in that work, how many lives, how many youth have you touched with this? How many youth have you been able to teach trading, and what have they what has been their response to learning this?
Yeah, so I have a guinea pig in my house. My daughter, she 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 is 16. She'll be 17 coming in
Wow.
October. And so a few years ago, I started to teach her just basic concepts of trading, how to read markets, that kind of thing. And what I begin to see is she grasps the information super fast, faster than most of the adults that I teach trading to. And so I've seen her grasp and be able to recognize things. I've got three people that I'm mentoring right now that are of teenage age right now, teaching them how to read the markets, giving them that option, even if they don't want to do this full time when they become 18.
Mm,
This could be a part time income, this could be any of that. And so just giving them the option and showing that this is something that they can do. They see another black man doing it. If I can do it, you can do it. If it feels like to me like their eyes have just kind of been opened, because it's not something that's taught in schools.
right.
It's not something that most individuals in our communities even talk about. Actually, I did statistics on this. Only 6% of traders in the world are black. 6%.
Wow. That's incredible.
And you have trillions of dollars that are traded every single day. Um, and we're only touching 6% of that, those individuals that are trading it. It's 2% are black women that are trading in that market. And so seeing those numbers and understanding that we are missing out as a community, we've been missing out. We just from lack of knowledge or not knowing that it's even there. I no more for that. Like we can't have that anymore. And so I am developing a specific program right now for youth, teaching, and I'll spill the beans on this, teaching youth how to trade, but I'm doing it in a very unique way. God has me doing it through an animated series.
Hmm.
Listen, listen,
Talk about it. I want you to
listen,
talk about it.
listen,
This
listen.
is fascinating, brother. This is fascinating to me.
There's not a lot of people who know that I'm working on this, but
Okay.
um, I'm working on this now where I want to teach through an animated series, and it's got to be entertaining. It's got to be entertaining to the point where it keeps the youth attention, but it's also providing all of the real information. And so, starting from age 10 on up, having multiple programs to teach more advanced information in trading. So that's what I spilled the beans, but that is what I'm working on at the moment. And my goal is really to get it in our communities, whether it's charter schools, working to get it in public schools, as well as a curriculum. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so
So let me ask this then. You know, you mentioned there's only 6% of traders, and this is worldwide, that are black people, right?
yes,
How then did you get into the industry? And then how would you so how did you get into it? And then how do you think this will impact us as black people moving forward? And let me ask this other question. I'm gonna ask you three questions. Why do you think it's only 6% of black people involved with trading?
yeah,
So three
yeah.
questions. How did you get involved with it? Why is it they're only 6%? And then how do you think this is going to impact us economically as black people moving forward?
Yeah, great questions. That first question, how did I get into it? I get this question all the time, and I laugh because it was nothing but God. Like I knew about trading. I it's funny, I knew about Forex trading, and a lot of us in our communities may have heard about foreign exchange market and trading on the foreign exchange market. What I knew about it was I've seen a lot of scams.
Mm,
I saw a lot of individuals that said, "Hey, I want to teach you how to trade in the forex market. You can make all this money," but they turned it into a pyramid scheme
mm,
where really the money wasn't being made from trading. It was starting a group and how many people you can bring in. We all know the multi-level marketing structure. And so that's what I saw of that growing up as a teenager. But it was in 20, I want to say 2022 actually end of 2021, um, I got interested in trading out of the blue. And when I say out of the blue, there was no one who came to me at all. I might have seen something on YouTube or something. And the way I am is I know if something comes out of the blue like that, it's typically not me. And so what I've seen now is it was a strategic move that God wanted me to start learning that well in advance before the economy gets shaken. And so what he did was I had me start learning. And when I initially started learning, I've got a really good friend of mine, Brother Tim Campbell. Um, I came to find out that we were learning at the same time.
Hmm.
And this, I'll say this is the second time where I had seen that with Tim, because we both got into doing real estate and in real estate investing, kind of around the same time as well. But I found out he's doing it, and so we just started to tag team. What I knew, I shared with him. What he knew, he shared with me. But it led further and further to the point where God had us start a trading group. And he gave us a vision on how that looks. He said, you're all going to come together and trade together. You're going to help each other out, but you're going to do it. Here's the caveat: you're going to do it, and you're going to teach people without charging them
Hmm.
to learn how to trade. And that that model is kind of unheard of, right?
Right.
Because you see all the courses in the classes that are pushed left and right, but this is what he had us do. And so we've been doing this over the last since 2022. He led us into doing a podcast. And so that's how I got involved in it. I just literally say it was God because no one came to me and said anything about it. It was just kind of, hey, my interest got piqued. And when that happens, I know it's not me. Let me just learn as much as I possibly can. Um, and so that's how it started. That's how the journey started. I think right now with our teaching and our podcast, we just hit over 700 subscribers. We
Wow.
do, yeah, we do, and this is without advertising at all. We haven't done any kind of advertising. This has just been organic. We're going to let God do the work. We've seen people saved. Listen, on the podcast in the morning. They get saved
Wow.
live. And I just love it. So that's how I got into it. Now, your second question, what was your second question again, James?
Why is there so few black
Few.
people involved
Yeah.
with trading?
Man. Um, I really feel like it's just simply because of lack of knowledge and the people that have the knowledge of this being an option, they've seen it done the wrong way. They've seen it turned into the multi-level marketing, like I mentioned.
Hmm.
They've seen it turned into things that it should not be. Um, but the barrier to entry that I've noticed is just simply knowledge. And so if we don't know about it,
Yeah,
if
what you don't know,
we
you don't know,
you don't
right?
know at all. And so, like I mentioned, they're not teaching this in schools at all, especially not our schools. We're not learning this. But what I have found out is other communities are learning this, whether it's from generational wealth. Their grandfather has been in trading for a long time. They passed it down to their father and they're passing it on down. We didn't have that. We haven't had those opportunities. And so to shake that system, it's going to take a move of God. It's going to take not just us naturally trying to do it, but we have to be so strategic in how we do things, introducing it to our communities. Because you know as well as I do, when something new comes to our communities, and I'll just speak from experience, we're very, very reluctant to accept it
Yeah.
or skeptical. It may be the
Yeah.
the
Yep.
best word. I'll admit I've been that person. Like, yeah,
Well,
I've
so
been,
am I.
yeah,
Because like you said, so many scams are out there.
yeah,
We don't know if you're trying to take advantage of us.
man,
We know the trick has been played on us. We
yeah.
know. the atrocities that have been done to us, and
Yep.
the whole real estate, the savings and loans
Yes.
stuff, and the
Yeah.
real estate stuff that took place years ago, man, it's like, ooh,
Yeah.
and it's always done on us. So
It
I get
is.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, but when you see the big picture and you see the global picture, and we start talking about the numbers like this, where only 6% of us are involved in trading, um, it should tell us, all right, if the other 94% is involved, there's a reason why they're involved. There's a reason why the markets are continuous, and you can make money whether the market's going up or down. Like there's a reason why our banks even trade these markets. What people don't understand or know is anytime you have your money in a bank, your bank, if it's not a credit union, your bank is for profit. Your bank has to make money from your money, and they are trading your money in the market. That's what they're doing. And so, how do banks make money? It's literally trading the same way we're trading on a daily basis. The markets or the banks are doing the exact same thing. And so, I want to say this to our community: do your own research. Do your own research on the trading market. Do your own research on how much is made on a daily basis globally, and then form your opinion after that. If you don't do that, you'll let fear overrun you. You'll let fear keep you out of a space that we're supposed to occupy. And I've seen that too much. We can't let fear do that. And I'm
right,
not saying that trading is an easy thing to do. Um, I will say that we've simplified things, and we've learned from trial and error and making all the mistakes. And we made mistakes, absolutely. And we've gone through so many different
right,
strategies in trading, but it's not a easy thing to do. But neither is going to college.
yeah,
Neither is your job that you go to every day.
that's right. Anything that you want
It,
to do that's relevant,
it's
that's significant, that impacts people's lives, it's not going to be easy.
yeah.
Anything worth doing is on the other side of something difficult.
Absolutely. And from a kingdom standpoint, we talk about the wealth of the wicked being laid up for the just. I
Right,
believe it's laid up. It's laid up in the markets. It's right there. We have to grab it. We
yeah,
have to get it. It's literally sitting right there. Um, but God has also caused us or called us to be kingdom financiers, and to be able to finance the next moves of God. And that's really at the forefront of our hearts with trading. Yes, you want to make a living, you want to make money for your household, but to be able to fund what's next, and even to be able to fund our own ideas and becoming a bank as a kingdom people, but as a community, that's what we're missing.
yes, yes,
We're missing it, and this goes into
yes,
the last question that you asked about impact on our community.
that's right.
We're so dependent on the systems of this world, and we understand and we know that they are against us.
I'm gonna snap my finger. I'm gonna snap my
Come
finger, man, on that, right,
like
brother? Because you're speaking now. I mean, you've been speaking, but man, this is incredible. And this is powerful work you are doing, brother. And I
yeah,
want people to get a chance. Now, I'm gonna give you a few more minutes, man,
yeah,
because I want to go over a little bit with you on this because I think this is important for our people to know. So talk on this because I know that the system that we live in America does not want us to build generational wealth.
no,
And when I say us, I'm talking about black people.
yep, that's
It's
it.
a strategic effort to keep us from building wealth, generational wealth. They do not want us to have it. They want us to continue to be dependent upon a system that doesn't really, you know, view us as human. It doesn't really view us as important. It doesn't view
Yep,
us as significant. It views us as second class citizens
yep.
in that system. So therefore, they do not want us to build generational wealth. But
No, they do not.
this man, what you're doing, man, it cuts right into that.
Yeah,
So talk more about it.
yeah, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. They don't want us. in these spaces. You see historically, anytime we have been getting ahead, you have Black Wall Street,
Yes.
the way we were doing with Black Wall Street, they couldn't take it, and they found a reason to burn
Yep.
that down, literally burn that
Yep.
down and bomb. And so we know the system is rigged. We get it. That's why you have to create your own systems. We have to create our own systems and operate outside of the normal systems that are there that are rigged against us. The banks, we understand the predatory loans. We understand even the discrimination when it comes to getting loans. But just what if? What if? And I'll say this again: dream with me. What if we could create our own systems where we had our own banks? We are able to fund our own God-given ideas. We're able to fund our communities, any events that we want to do, anything like that. How do you get there? It has to be outside of this world system, and I'll even call it this Babylonian system. It has to be outside of that. And so that's what we're pricking, and that's literally what we're fighting against. We have this area of trading which trades trillions of dollars every single day, and we're
Wow.
not tapping into it. We haven't tapped into it, but now we are. And we're making an impact. We're not called to take sides. We know that we're called to take over, and that's literally what
Mm.
our goal is to take over that industry. And we're not taking it over just as Black people, but we're taking it over as kingdom Black individuals. We're listen, that's two things that are really one. That's two things that are really one. And I'm not going to go into to biblical things with the children of Israel. Like I'm not going to go there because that's really going to cause some controversy on your podcast, James. I'm trying to be good, but
I'm loving it though. I'm loving this. I'm
but
loving this.
but the thinking is literally to create our own systems. And so I'll get into this just briefly. We trade, but we don't even trade our own money. You would think as a trader you've got to have thousands of dollars to invest into the markets to trade. No, we found a I'm not going to call it a loophole. We found something that the others are using, these firms that will fund you to trade if you know how to trade and you prove to them you know how to trade. And so we've been able to get funded millions of dollars to trade with. That's not our own money. We've got multiple
Mm.
individuals in our group alone that are funded over $1 million to trade with. And you just simply do a profit split with these companies that fund you. But here's the kicker: the profit split is 90-10. And so you get 90% of what you make, that company gets 10%. And a 10% return on anyone's investment is great, right? And
Yes.
so they're more than happy with taking all the risk and getting a 10% return on their investment. So like it's God has just kind of strategically moved us into these areas and finding ways to do it, um, to really do it with little to no money, essentially. And I don't want
Wow.
this to be an infomercial. That's not what it is. Like, I'm not trying to sell you or anything. I'm just telling you what God has put in us and has allowed us to do.
Well, I want you to say this
Yeah,
because our people need to know this.
yeah.
This information that you have, this information that you are giving out, we need to know this. We need to have this. And you're starting with young people, brother. That is revolutionary to start with these young people and to get these young people to begin to think about this. Older people like myself. I mean, you got me intrigued.
We've got
I think
everybody.
brother, this is incredible, man. I'm gonna ask you two more questions. Um, what have been obstacles that you faced while doing this? And then the last question, as we close up, what one thing, what one word, what phrase, what last words would you like to tell people as we end our conversation today? Because and I want to tell you, I want to have you come back because I
Definitely.
want to specifically talk more about trading and how people get into it and how they do it. But those two questions, man. What obstacles have you encountered, and how have you overcome those obstacles? And then lastly, what final words? What would you say to black men, black people who are listening? Because not just black men listening,
Yeah.
black people who are listening as we close today.
Yeah. Obstacle wise doing this, initially the obstacles I saw were all external. It was all, people not believing what I'm doing would work. And whether we say it or not, or we accept it or not, sometimes what people think does kind of seep in a little bit. And so I had individuals that would say, "Hey, no, that's a scam," or "Yeah, your cousin used to do that. He never made any money. So
Mm,
like, yeah, I don't know why you're doing that." And the thing is, it's our own people that are saying these things. And so I heard those kind of things, and um, I had to get over the mental battle first, the mental battle of believing that I can do this was the first step. And so there's a saying that says, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right.
both right. That's right.
You're
Yes.
right either way. And so that was really the first hurdle that I had to face is, all right, I don't care what anyone is saying. I know what God wants me to do. I understand why He has me here, and that I'm a trailblazer to a certain extent,
Yes, you
and
are.
that our group we're trailblazing. And so even with that, the next obstacle that we begin to face, and we still face at times, it is more of a spiritual battle. It's a spiritual battle because like we're leading with being kingdom people. We're not just saying, we're not just traders and we throw in God, just sprinkle in God a little. No, we're literally leading with that. Even when we trade, we're using our prophetic gifts. That's a whole nother story. But
Yes.
God has been, giving us dreams on what the market's going to do. He'll give us inklings, and using our discernment as well as being technically sound. But the spiritual battles of operating in this space, knowing that trading operates above our heads, it operates above our heads. It's a spiritual thing. It's not natural, and we understand Satan is the prince of the power of the air, and so we've come against attacks, even personal attacks. We've had witches, we've had people come on speaking certain things, and a lot of times we'll block the comments so other people can't see it. But we've been fighting those spiritual battles, and we understand it just comes with the territory. But to overcome it, we've had to increase our prayer lives. We've had to
Okay.
even have specific teams to pray and cover what we're doing. And so those are really the hurdles that I face. Nothing else crazy. Like this market is so open that it doesn't matter if you're black, white, green, blue, doesn't matter. If you have the knowledge and you have the discipline, you will succeed. You will
Wow.
succeed in this.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you, brother. I got to end there, man. I want to have you come back and stay on after we close up because I want to ask you a couple more questions just
absolutely.
offline here. Thank you again, brother Terrace. We need to have you come back.
Appreciate you.
We are going to have you come back soon, and I want to get into this in a deeper way. Thank you all, everyone. You've been listening to Yana. You are not alone, and remember, you are not meant to do life alone. We walk this journey together, and we are interdependent on each other. And remember, again, you are not meant to do life alone. See you next time on Yana. You are not alone. And until then, grace and peace to each and every one of you. Yana is here for you. This is your space to connect, grow, and be heard because none of us are meant to do life alone.